In this session, we are going to discuss about few more miscellaneous functions like USERENV, VSIZE and SOUNDEX function. Let's start with the USERENV function. USERENV function returns the information of varchar2 data type about the current session. The syntax which need to be followed is USERENV passing the option as a parameter. USERENV function is directly used with the select statement. Let's discuss the values of the options which are available. Is DBA returns true if DBA is enabled. Language returns the language and territory used in the current session. Terminal returns the OS identifier for the current session's terminal. Session ID returns the auditing session identifier. Entry ID returns the available auditing entry identifier. Lang returns the IST abbreviation for the language name. Instance returns the instance identification number for the current session. Now let's have a look for few examples for better understanding. Select USERENV from the table dual. Now passing the parameter is DBA in USERENV function. That is select USERENV passing the option as is DBA from dual. Execute the statement returns false. That is DBA is not enabled. Next query, select USERENV language from dual. Execute the statement. Output got generated as American_America.al32UTF-8. That is it returns the language or territory used in the current session. Next query, select USERENV terminal from dual table. Execute the statement generated with the output as unknown, where terminal always returns the OS identifier of the current session terminal. Writing next query, select USERENV session ID from the dual table. Execute the statement. Output got generated as number which represents the auditing session identifier. Writing next query, select USERENV entry ID from the dual table. Execute the statement generated with the output 12 which represents the available auditing entry identifier. Writing next query, select USERENV lang from the dual table. Execute the statement generated with the output as US which represents the IST abbreviation for the language name. Next query, select USERENV instance from the dual table. Execute the statement got generated with the output 2 which represents the instance identification number of the current instance. Now let's move for the next function VSIZE. VSIZE function returns the number of bytes in the internal representation of expression. If expression is null, function returns null. The syntax which need to be followed is VSIZE passing the column name as a parameter, and it can be directly used with the select statement. Let's have a look for few examples. Select ename, VSIZE passing the parameter ename, hire date, VSIZE passing the parameter as hire date from the employee table. Execute the statement. Output got generated where the VSIZE returns the number of bytes in the internal representation of the expression which passed us a parameter that is applicable for the columns ename and hire dates value. Writing next query, select department number, VSIZE passing the parameter department number from the table EMP. Execute the statement got generated with the output department number and the VSIZE applicable on the column department number. Now let's move for the next function SOUNDEX. SOUNDEX function returns a character string containing the representation of char. It allows the comparison of words that are spelled differently but sound alike in English. SOUNDEX function is directly used with the select statement by passing character string as parameter. Let's have a look for the example. Select ename, job from the employee table where SOUNDEX passing parameter as job equals SOUNDEX passing parameter as manager. Execute the statement got generated with the output with their employee name with their corresponding job as manager. Writing next query, select job from the employee table where SOUNDEX of job equals SOUNDEX of clerk CLRK. Execute the statement got generated with the output as jobs value equals clerk and whose spelling is CLERK. Let's write next query. Select employee name from the employee table where SOUNDEX of ename equals SOUNDEX of Smith, SMYTHE. Execute the statement. Got generated with the output as the value of the employee name equals Smith, SMITH. That is, it allows the comparison of words that are spelled differently but sound alike in English.